This is the For Pookie writing vlog. For Pookie, my Pookie is Azaria, but like we like to share the wealth. So For Pookie with sharing writing vlog. And I am actually going to talk about the last book that I rated 5 stars. It turns out it's very hard for me to give out a 5-star. What the book was, how to get there, how I choose my books, just a better insight of my reading process. And like, I thought I knew my reading process, but I learned a lot looking back through my stats, and I was like, oh. So, first and foremost, the last book that I rated 5 stars was Worth Fighting For by Jessie Q. Satanto? But it was a Mulan retelling. It's a part of that Meant to Be series. I read Christina Lauren's and Jasmine Guillory's, and I heard the Mulan retelling, and I was like, yes. But what really tripped me up, because I don't like, obviously I didn't know, but obviously Mulan is an Asian story, and I thought Jessie, the author, was of Latina descent. So I was like, huh. But in the back of the book, she was like, they had to change their Asian name because of this, that, and the other. And I just found that to be very interesting because, you know, 1, I didn't know. 2, history. 3, she's like reclaiming her roots. How cute. So yeah, I just really found that interesting. And Jessie, the author, I read a couple other books by her, and she's really becoming one of my most read authors, but not like on my stats, but just like in life, because she comes out with all different kinds of books and I gravitate towards them. She wrote a mystery called The Obsession. That one was crazy. And then she wrote the Vera Wong series, which is so freaking funny. And then she has an auntie series, and I'm an aunt, and I love being an aunt. So I will read anything about aunts. So yeah, she's just out there, and she's like connecting to me, and I love that for us. So yes, my last book that I rated 5 stars was Worth Fighting For, and it was a Mulan retelling, and I was intrigued by how it would come out, because I'm like, wait, which is she still going to dress up as a man, but how she did it, how Jessie did it, the female main character, her name is still Mulan. Mulan is working for her dad's hedge fund company, and her dad was talking to this other company to like buy out / revamp, and then her dad had a heart attack, but he didn't want to let the client go. So he was like, Mulan, just tell him I'm sick and be nice or something. And she was like, okay, daddy. But actually Mushu, which was her cousin, and I thought that was so funny because like I read it, but all I could still see was the dragon, and I was just like dying of laughter. She was really cool though. Mushu was like, why don't you just pretend to be far somebody, I forget his name. Yeah. And so she pretended to be her dad, but the client was like, no, because she's a woman. And in Asian culture, and I think everywhere, people underestimate women. And she was like, this client is important to my dad, so I'm going to make sure that I obtain it. And the client was like a distillery / sheep farm, and her dad was like conversating with them, saying like, oh, I used to grow up on a farm, I miss it. So they invited her to the farm. She ain't never been on a farm. She got to pretend to be on a farm. And so those were her little challenges that she had to go through and embarrass herself. And there was a lot of poop, animals, a lot of poop that she ended up in. But like she was also like willing to try, and she had a calm demeanor where she didn't like scare the animals, but like I said, people were rooting against her, so they sabotaged her. And then there was Shang. Shang. I was very impressed with this Shang because in the movie, he has a lot to prove. He's like, I am the captain's son. I have to like train these people to take them into battle to fight the gray man, da da da. But in this book, he didn't have anything to prove. All he did was hang out with his mom, cook, and yeah, he was just like, this is real, this is me, this is who I'm meant to be. Like, there was no complex that he was fighting with, which I enjoyed. Their meet cute was so good. She thought he was an intern, and she was like, damn, that intern's sexy. But then she was like, snap out of it. And then she was like, intern, go get some coffees. And he was like, okay. And then he came back and she was like, oh, I thought you were the intern. And he was like, well, here's your coffee. I was like, because you know. But yeah, he did the damn thing. I love that. Of course they had a breakup and get back together. But the get back together was so beautiful thanks to Shane. Oh my gosh, should I tell him? Okay, I'm just gonna tell you. So she's like, Shane, I'll do anything for you. And he's like, bro, I just needed like some time. We never broke up, da da. It was just, like, I'm happy she had to go through that, but the fact that he was like, well, I'm not happy she had to go through that, but like she had to go through it. She had to like soak her woes or whatever. But the fact that that's how he came back to her, I was just like, so one, worth fighting for, 5 stars. I don't think it could have gone any better, because even if I didn't somehow think that it was 5 stars, I still would have gave it 5 stars, because Mulan is my favorite Disney movie. And I mean, Jessie did that. And I really enjoyed learning about her history, because I read a book cover to cover, and that was just beautiful for me because, like I said, I thought she was of a different descent, and then the drama of having to change her last name, like, anyway. I have read 56 books this year, and according to Fable, my average rating is 3.8. That really stresses me out. I want to be a 4, but then again, it's all about how I rate things, so it's like, how do I do this? So 56 books, 3.8. My last 5-star, we already know. And getting to a 5-star, I didn't know was so challenging, but I guess it is for me. I feel like I'm not a mood reader, but I am a mood rater. Deadass, if it takes me longer than a week to finish a book, -1 star. Also, preferably, I want to finish a book in 3 days, but I do understand like my lifestyle, and if I don't have enough time, Some people are like, I will start a book and I have to finish it in that setting. And I'm like, don't know what that's like, because sleep. If the book is more than 400 pages, -1 star. In my unpopular opinion, the greatest little page number is like 333. So that's my preferred. But if it's more than 400, -1 star. I read a lot of mystery and thrillers. If it has ghosts involved, -1 star. I do not like ghosts in my my mindset. I prefer aliens, but like the cool, fun aliens from like Jimmy Neutron. So no ghosts. I'm not a fan of insta love, -1 star. I guess it just depends on how it is written, but I'm specifically thinking of Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, because the guy was like, actually no, actually no. And then he was like, he was like mean to her, but like he liked her. And I didn't understand that. And it was weird. So yeah, if it's gonna be insta love, I don't know, it just depends on how it's written. But that sort of insta love, that like it happened within like the first couple chapters of the book, and that I held that the entire book. I was like, no. So that was like a minus star. I couldn't get past that. Even when it got hot and sexy, I was like, you're still weird. Like, why be weird in the very beginning? The last like mystery book that I rated 5 stars was You Didn't Tell. Um, I that's something that I realized about myself for the research for this video. It takes a lot to get to 5 stars in mystery, and I love mystery and thriller. But it's usually just something that I can't get past where I'm like, and then it doesn't do the proper comeuppance for me. So yeah, I think like my favorite quote unquote mystery for the year is One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose. I don't think it came out this year, but I read it this year. And it was recommended to me, and I'm always nervous about recommendations because when you recommend something, you know that they really like it, and you don't want to be like, this was ass, but it was so good. It was so good. But it was a 4.5. I forget why I took away half a star. But yeah, I read a lot of mysteries, but those are not the ones that are getting the high scores. That's really interesting because I like mysteries. But I think it's just like how it comes about, how I would do it, not as a writer, but as a reader, like what I expect to get out of it and not getting it. So I'm like, Romance and mystery are like my mains, but I can read some fantasy, and if it doesn't like immediately grip me at all, I like to be like, okay, 3 stars, like just the average rating, because even though it's not important for my liking, it is for someone else's. And I think that 3 stars is good to be like, it was written, I read it, the end. Like I don't have it's not more or less than that. It's just not my vibe. Choosing a book to read. I'm trying to think. How does that happen? Because like I'll read books or different authors outside of the ones that I know. Okay, choosing a book to read that is not like one of my mains. It's usually because of a book club. I'm like, oh, Or I go to an event where there's multiple authors and I end up getting every author's book, especially after hearing them talk. I'll be like, well, thank you, bye now. Dang, I'm gonna have to decide that. Follow me on TikTok, and the next time I go buy a book from like not someone that I already know, love, and was gonna buy anyway, because the last book I bought was Real by Kennedy Ryan, because Kennedy Ryan. And yeah, I am like really intrigued by this. I don't like a lot of book covers, people. So that is something else. And I read romance and mystery. Romance has a lot of cartoon covers. I don't like cartoon covers. I don't like cartoons with no eyeballs. I don't like cartoons with eyeballs. I'm just not a cartoon cover person. I like a sleek cover. You can do like a little photo or like I don't know. But I like it sleek. I'll put up some vibes. These are my vibes. But yeah, follow me on TikTok and I'll go to the bookstore and pick a book. Because right now, I'm like, how do I pick a book? Because I've had so many books on my lists. Okay. So I've seen a book and I was like, I want to read that. And it is She Started It by some girl. So like, you see, it's sleek. It's not doing a lot. But romance, how do I choose a romance book? I was attracted, shall we say, to the Anna Wallung Twisted series because it was sleek. It wasn't all this hoopla. So that's the vibe. But I'm still gonna go to the bookstore and be like, how do I choose a book? Because I'm really intrigued just for myself. But yes, I do judge a book by its cover and whatever vibe is giving. And that isn't always a safe choice because I do not read book blurbs. I do not read the entire book description. If it has a couple sentences at the top before the entire thing, that is what I'll read. And I'm like, ooh. I remember I read All the Other Mothers Hate Me, and the little couple sentences was like, Alfie's missing and everyone cares, but I don't because he's a little shit. And I was like, yes. So that's how, but I also would not have, I like the title of All the Other Mothers Hate Me, but I did not enjoy the cover. So, oh, a lot of things. I'm realizing a lot of things about myself. Okay. Anyway, and then last but not least, I just want to sprinkle some little insight on my auto read authors: Nicola Yoon, Kennedy Ryan, Denise Williams, Jasmine Guillory, Christina Lauren. And those are all romance authors. This is really interesting to me because I don't consider myself a romance reader, but I guess I am, considering all my auto-buy authors are romance. But Nicola Yoon wrote a mystery, and it was really, 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 really good. I think I gave it 4.5, and I remember why, the half star, and I'm still pissed. But I hope she writes more mystery. I don't have like a go-to auto mystery thriller author. Tiffany D. Jackson, that's my girl, but it's not so much an auto because she be scaring me, so it takes the right mindset to get into a Tiffany D. Jackson world. I also really like Liv Constantine. They're really good. But I would say those two I really enjoy, but I'm so behind. Still trying to catch up. Yeah, okay. So, blah, blah, blah for Pookie plus sharing. And if you want to indulge me, either tell me your favorite Disney movie or your auto-buy, auto-read authors.